Hi everybody, my name is Michelle Matthey, and I wanted to make a video to give you my testimony, to tell you about a miracle healing for my son and myself. My son is 9 years old, and something happened when he was about 2. He changed. He could no longer self-soothe. He could no longer sleep by himself. He had to be held tightly in order to fall asleep. And he's had impulse control issues and, ADHD tendencies. And then PANDS, right? So PANDAS, something you should Google, PANS, it's an acronym. And then PANDAS is PANS associated with strep. So it's basically when there's a virus or bacteria in the body that causes so much inflammation that it inflames the brain and it causes all sorts of problems. I want to tell you that I feel now, having lived this and then having prayed and commanded it to leave, that it was demonic. I really feel that children that have these conditions, it is demonic. How it got there, I don't know. We can use natural health. We can change diets to make things better. And if it's still not leaving, that's something that you need to rebuke. And I say that with so much love and no judgment. This is my personal story. It's my testimony. That is how we had a miracle in our lives. And I really, really feel that our children are under attack. And I know a lot of you guys are going to agree with that when it comes to all the junk that's being put into them, like vaccines. And I'm sorry, I have to clear something off my screen. The processed foods, the GMOs, all of these things, we're all being poisoned. But that's a whole nother video. But what I want to say before I get into my testimony is that I really feel that if the enemy can divide us, then he will use any means possible to do that. The divorce rate for regular couples with regular kids, right, with normal, is pretty high. But then you add in a special needs child, and it goes up to like 90%. And I know because I lived it. We never divorced, but we were miserable. And the finances, the amount of money that we have spent on healing me, because I was really sick, and then healing my son, and $700 a month on supplements and medications and doctors, specialists, because they don't take insurance. It was a spiritual attack on our family. And I think that there's been a spiritual attack on the family unit. Because when we are together, we are powerful. And I'm not saying you're not powerful on your own, mom or dad, but when you're together, you are powerful. And the enemy does not want that. And I have a story. So I've been seeing in the spirit a lot lately, and especially after the miracle that happened with my son. And I was reading a book, Divine Healing by Praying Medic, Divine Healing Made Simple by Praying Medic. And it changed my life. And, but, I was rebuking the viruses and the bacteria that was in his body, because we could never get a straight answer from anybody. That's why I mean that it was demonic. We didn't know what was wrong. Something happened. He changed. No amount of blood work could tell us. $11,000 in blood work. Thank God for insurance. It was only $500. Nothing could tell us what it was. His immune system did not work. He wasn't absorbing his vitamins, minerals, nothing from his food. It didn't work. We were fighting in the dark. and just kind of throwing things at him to try to get him better. And I mean, and it worked. Like we eliminated gluten and we eliminated dairy, and those things helped. Nothing was getting him well. And that's when I feel that it truly was a demonic, multiple demonic beings in there. Now, my son has a gift of seeing. He's been able to see in the spirit realm his entire life. If this is all new to you and I sound woo-woo and wacko, totally fine. I'm cool with that. It would have sounded woo-woo and wacko to me too, had I not experienced what I've experienced. The miracle that I've experienced with his complete and total healing. Part of that book was telling the demon to manifest itself so I could call it by name and kick it out. And I did this in my head while he's laying down going to sleep. And it manifested, and I rebuked it, and he was calm, and he's been calm. So I rebuked the ADHD. I didn't know what to call him. I don't know if his name is George, Chuck, Lucifer, whatever. It's just the spirit that's causing this, right? I have no idea really what I'm doing. I've been reading a book. I've been spending time in the Word. I'm just doing what God tells me to do. I've just stepped into this. And so I'm not the expert, but I'm doing what I know to do. And the reason why I know I can do this is because on our way down to Georgia, I used to be in natural health. And on the way down to Georgia, 4 hours into our trip, I was going down there to go get another certification in natural health to figure out how to heal my son, using homeopathy and herbs and frequencies and blah, blah, blah. I mean, anything you name it. Literally throwing everything at him to get him well. And halfway into my trip, God's like, I started listening to the praying medic, how to activate healing. And he was like, stop playing God. You don't need this machine. It's a Quest 4 bioenergy machine. You don't need this machine. You have me. And I felt like the weight of the world just lifted off my shoulders, which is really weird because I was on my way down, right? I've already spent all this money on the hotel, and I'm already 4 hours into a 12-hour trip, right? And he's like, oh, you don't need to go. You don't need to go there for that. And the weight of the world lifted off my shoulders. I wasn't stressed. I wasn't angry. I didn't doubt. I just knew. And he was speaking to me because listening to the praying medic, listening to this man, Dave, speaking at a church and praying to God and just being in the presence, soaking up the presence, I gave him the space to speak to me. I had kingdom in my car. And so he could speak to me. How often does that happen? It doesn't, because we got the 9 Inch Nails blaring or something totally unholy, right? Listening on the radio or the kids. Yeah, there's something always going. And so I called my husband and I told him I was done. Like, I'm just done. I'm going to sell the machine. And how did he feel about that? I was a little nervous, and he was okay. He's fine. I said, I still want to go down and see my mom because she was going to watch my son. And then I bought the book, Divine Healing Made Simple. And I just started listening to very simple steps, and all of it backed up by scripture, all of it. That we have the authority. God's given us the authority to command healing, not beg for it. We don't need to beg for it. It's ours. And I have some notes because I was doing my devotional last night, and God gave me some scriptures, and I felt so like, oh my God, I have to share this with everybody because it's amazing. But I want to tell you, besides that book, you should get the book, get it on Audible and listen to it, or whatever. He backs it up by scriptures, and it's just like, duh, right? So one of the things I wanted to tell you was okay, so Jesus, all right, this is John 14, verse 12. I tell you the truth. Anyone who believes in me will do the same works I have done, and even greater works. Even greater, because I am going to be with the Father. So he left us here. He's still with us. He's still in with us. We're still like this, right? But we will do even greater works. What he's done and greater. Sit with that. Wow. He didn't say, hey, you might be able to do it if you ask me really, really nice and like beg for it. No. Okay. And there's other verses, but that's not what the Lord brought to me. You get the book, but that backs up that we have the authority. But that right there, okay. And he's not talking about like a mustard seed. No, you have to have faith. He didn't tell all the people with little faith, like the disciples that couldn't cast out a demon from this little boy who had epilepsy and was falling all over the place and injuring himself, that the disciples couldn't do it. The guy brought him to Jesus. It's like, hey, yo, your people over there, they're not helping me, so I'm going to go straight to the man who could do it. And Jesus said, ye of little faith, talking to his own disciples that witnessed him doing all of these things. Can you imagine? You saw this man raising people from the dead, healing people like right there, and you still have doubt? So he healed the little boy. He cast out the demon and healed the little boy. He never praised anybody for having mustard seed size strength. That mustard seed, and the Praying Medic talks about this in his book, so this is not my original idea. Get the book. I said that like 29 times. I should totally get paid for this. But anyway, the mustard seed turns into a huge tree. But you plant it, you feed it, you water it, and it grows. So that was a totally different perspective for me thinking about that. And so when the centurion came to Jesus and said that his servant was sick, Jesus said, okay, I'll be right there. No problem. Let me just like tie my shoe. Like, I'm on my way, whatever he was doing. And the guy was like, no. I'm a person in authority. I know how authority works. I tell people to come and they come. I tell people to go and they go. All you have to do is say it's done, and I know it will be done. And I can only imagine like the huge smile on Jesus' face. It's like, somebody finally listens. Somebody finally gets what I'm trying to say. This man knew the authority that Jesus had and said, you say it's done, it's done. And so Jesus was like, yes, you get it, gold star. I've not seen anybody have this kind of faith. So it does take faith when you're commanding healing, but he's given us the authority right there in John 14:12. Anyone who believes in me will do the same works I have done and even greater. I gotta tell you, that blows my mind. It's kind of scary, but it's so cool. Like, wow, if we were walking in this every day, if kingdom was with us and we're walking in that every day and we were one with God, and let me tell you why I know we can be one with God. But imagine the world we'd live in. Imagine the lives we'd change. Imagine what our family would be like. Right? You know that saying, like, you can change the world, but one little world at a time. Right? You change your world, and that changes your son's world. And then he goes out and he can change a world. And then it's just this beautiful ripple. But let me tell you why I know that we are united with God, why I know that we can be like this. We are, if we want it. Okay? So let me just flip over to my notes. Okay, here it is. All praise to God, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has blessed us with every spiritual blessing. Every spiritual blessing is ours already. He says so. This guy says so. Okay? And you know what? I don't think I wrote down. I'm sorry. I'll have to put it in the comments. I didn't write down where that was. I think it was Ephesians. Okay? Anyway. Blessed us with every spiritual blessing in the heavenly realms because we are united with Christ. We are united with Christ. He's already given us the spiritual blessings. We're united. Do you know what united means? Go to Merriam-Webster, but I'll save you the trouble because I got it right here. Made one. Combined. Relating to or produced by joint action. a united effort. Being in agreement, harmonious, like a united family. Because we are united with Christ, we are made one with Christ, we are harmonious with Christ, we are in a joint action with Christ. Okay, like I got so excited last night. All right, now here's Ephesians 3:20. Now all glory to God who is able through his mighty power at work within us. Again, already given it to us, already there, his mighty power within us to accomplish infinitely more than we might ask or think. And I'm going to add, like that we might ask or think, like ever. I'm going to add the ever part in there. Right. So through his mighty power at work within us to accomplish infinitely more than we might ask or think. What does infinite mean? I will tell you. Extending indefinitely, endless, immeasurably or inconceivably great or extensive, inexhaustible, subject to no limitation. That's one word, limitation. I don't know why I stopped, sorry. Okay, so accomplish, inconceivably great or extensive, inexhaustible, subject to no limitation, extending indefinitely, more things than we might ask or think. It's all right here. It's all right there. Everything we need to command healing and to change, to step into that and to change the world, whether it's our little world or the big world, it's right there. So there's no more begging. There's no more begging, right? Okay, I have another one. I got more, okay? And right. Okay, and because of his glory and excellence, he has given us great and precious promises. What promises, Michelle? The ones I was just talking about, right? Those promises. He's given us promises. This is 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 4. These are the promises that enable you to share his divine nature and escape the world's corruption caused by human desires. Promises that enable us to share his divine nature because we are united. If you are united with Christ, and he's saying you can do great works, even better. And that's amazing. You can perform miracles. You can command the health in your family. Okay? What is a promise? A promise is a declaration that one will do or refrain from doing something specified. Okay? A legally binding declaration that gives the person to whom it is made a right to expect or to claim the performance or forbearance of a specified act. Okay? The right to expect and to claim it. You have everything you need. It is yours. He says so. How does it make you feel to know that you are united? I keep doing this because it's, but you're united with Christ. Not only is he just like living in your heart, you guys are one. That is a mindset shift. That is a paradigm shift, right? He can go into places that are full of hurt and full of pain, and he can heal those places so you can be completely healed. And he can show you those places. All you have to do is ask, because he already knows where they are. And he can show them to you. And then he can go in there and he can hug that little kid that needed a hug, or he can heal it, heal that hurt, So then once you are beginning to heal yourself, all the pain, all of the anger, the rage even, from all the things that have gone wrong, and you have that paradigm shift and you know now that Christ, you and Christ are one. You're united and he's promised you. And that means you can claim it. You have the right to claim it. And he says that. And you can change your life and you can change your family's life. And it's all yours already. You don't have to go and beg. You don't have to do 5 nice things for someone else. Even if you just murdered someone yesterday, it's still yours. I'd probably ask for forgiveness first. That's just me, but it's still yours. Doesn't matter. Doesn't. And I think that's a beautiful, wonderful, amazing thing. And it's just, it turns everything upside down. But drop me some comments below. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this all makes sense. I'd be happy to answer questions, but I'm not an expert. This is just something that has happened to me over the past few weeks. And God is just, he's waking people up to share. He's waking his army up. He's calling us to come together and to unite and to share our testimonies and to share our stories, because my testimony can help another little boy and another family heal. And your testimony can help somebody else heal. And their testimony can also help somebody else heal. And as you can see, it's like a domino, right? All right. I love you guys because we are all in this together. And I will see you next time.